If the key feels wrong, do not start by moving every note. Start with the key signature. When you are trying to tell what key sheet music is in, the sharps or flats after the clef narrow the answer to a key family. No sharps or flats usually points to C major or A minor. One sharp points to G major or E minor. Two flats point to B flat major or G minor. That first clue is not the final answer, but it gives you the right search area. The reason this matters is practical. Key is not only a theory label. It affects transposition, MIDI cleanup, chord naming, sight reading, rehearsal tracks, and whether a scanned score imported correctly. A converter can read many of the notes and still leave the harmony feeling wrong if the key center is misread. Use the article's FAST rule: key signature first, final chord second, accidental third. If those clues disagree, play or export a short passage and listen for the note or chord that feels like home. Here is the first pass table in spoken form. With no sharps or flats, ask whether the music settles on C or A. With one sharp, expect D major or E minor, and watch for F sharp plus the final chord. With two sharps, expect D major or B minor, and check whether C sharp and F sharp are structural. With three sharps, expect A major or F sharp minor, and listen for G sharp leading to A. With one flat, expect F major or D minor. With two flats, expect B flat major or G minor. With three flats, expect E flat major or C minor. Then check accidentals before trusting the first answer. The key signature gives the default scale, but accidentals show how the music behaves inside the key. A piece with no sharps or flats may still use many G sharps because it is really in A minor. A piece with two flats may add F sharps near G minor cadences. Repeated accidentals near phrase endings matter more than one chromatic passing note. Scan the first full phrase and the final phrase. Mark accidentals that repeat in important places. Ignore a single decorative chromatic note until you see a pattern. In minor keys, look for the raised seventh, such as G sharp in A minor or D sharp in E minor. That raised leading tone is often the clue that separates relative minor from the major key with the same signature. Now use the final chord, final bass note, and melody center as tiebreakers. Most tonal pieces end on the tonic chord, or at least on a note that strongly points back to it. If there are no sharps or flats, and the last chord is C, C major is likely. If the last bass note is A, and G sharps appear before it, A minor becomes more likely. If one sharp ends on G, think G major. If one sharp ends on E minor, with D sharps near cadences, think E minor. The melody can help too. If phrase endings keep returning to E, the piece may be in E minor even when the key signature also matches G major. If the phrase endings keep landing on G, G major is more likely. The key is the musical home, not just the number of marks beside the clef. When the page is scanned, handwritten, cropped, or full of modulations, verify with playback. First, identify the likely key from the page, then convert a short, readable section into MIDI. Open that MIDI in a DAW or notation editor. Check whether the piano roll and chord arrivals match the key you expected. If the harmony centers somewhere else, go back to the final chord, bassline, and accidentals before editing every note. Do not treat the first MIDI export as a verdict. Treat it as a fast listening check. Playback can reveal wrong key signatures, missing accidentals, or a section that moved to a new center, but you still decide whether the music is major, relative minor, modal, changing key, or intentionally ambiguous. Some scores do not stay in one key. A new key signature in the middle usually means a formal key change. A cluster of accidentals across several measures may be temporary tonization or modulation. A bridge that feels brighter or darker may shift section-level key. Chord symbols may disagree with the key signature because the arrangement uses borrowed chords. If the ending returns to the opening key, the middle section may be a detour, not a new home key. This is where key finding connects to transposition. If your next job is moving the piece for a singer or instrument, identify the real home key first. Otherwise, you may transpose a section, chord chart, or MIDI lane from the wrong center and create more cleanup. This is also where Melogen fits without overclaiming. Melogen can help move a static score into an editable MIDI draft when the source is a readable PDF, JPG, or PNG. Sheet2MIDI can give you a quick playback check. PDF to MIDI and image to MIDI can help when the source format is the main obstacle. But Melogen does not replace musical judgment about relative minor, modulations, borrowed chords, modal writing, cropped pages, or ambiguous endings. Use Melogen when the key signature is visible but the harmony still feels unclear, when you need MIDI lanes to inspect notes and chord arrivals, or when you want to playback check before transposition. Do the theory check yourself when the score is only a lead sheet, the page is cropped before the key signature, the music changes keys several times, or the piece avoids a clear tonal center. The practical takeaway is simple. Count the sharps or flats. Name the likely major key and relative minor. Check the final chord or bass note. Look for repeated accidentals near cadences. Play or export a short section if the answer still feels uncertain. Mark any section where the key changes, instead of forcing one answer onto the whole piece. Once the key is right, everything downstream gets easier. Chord naming, MIDI cleanup, transposition, rehearsal tracks, notation editing, and listening checks all start from the fun musical center. This is the official Melogen AI channel. Subscribe for practical music knowledge, sheet music workflows, AI music tools, and better ways to connect notation with playback. Melogen AI offers music tools and AI music models for musicians, educators, and creators. Visit melogenai.com to try Melogen with your own readable score workflow.